What's going on? It's your man Louie T here on this newest installment of Music Head University. This is my first live stream, so I'm kind of excited about it, but I'm also kind of wanting to see how everything goes. But this is the perfect time to do it. It's a lot of beef out here in these streets, man. I'm feeling like beef. For dinner, right? Got that kind of MA vibe feeling right now, young MA. Ooh. Ooh. Music heads. Class is in session. Turn me up. So today's live stream is centered around this beef. And before we get to any of the beef that's cooking right now, that's percolating, Drake, Rozay, this is what we love in hip hop, as long as it stays on wax, as long as nothing exceeds the limit where we start hearing about issues out in the streets. As long as this thing stays on wax, I'm all for it. I got to clean up on aisle 3 with J. Cole. So I did a video, a quick little video. J. Cole's not effing around after he released Might Delete Later and 7-minute drill. And I talked about the track and, so many reactions have been had to J. Cole's apology to Kendrick Lamar. And honestly, I don't know what it's going to mean for his career long term. And maybe the fall off is his last album and he's done. I doubt it, but maybe in his mind, I can apologize because I'm going to drop one more album and I'm out. I doubt it. Cole fans are still going to show up for Cole and they're still going to, show up and show out and represent for him. But apologizing essentially eliminates him from any active competition for the #1 spot in hip hop. And that's fine. I don't think he was, when he made that apology, I think he knew that that was the end of any hope of getting to the top spot. I was announcing that he was at the top spot and there was distance after that project. And for him to come out, apologize. Somebody said it very eloquently, more eloquently than I could ever put it. The problem with J. Cole apologizing and doing what he did was, it'd be one thing if it turned ugly and it got personal and he had drugged, Kendrick Lamar's wife into the ordeal, similar to how, Drake and Pusha T had gotten into it, and Drake had mentioned Pusha T's wife. And that's when you start crossing lines and it starts to blur the line of on wax and personal, and that's how shit can get ugly. J. Cole did none of that. Like his 7-minute drill, track was not a personal attack at Kendrick. It was literally an attack on his career, his body of work, the albums he had put out. It wasn't anything that should have gone to the point of elevating it to something that could have turned, violent or nasty to the where he felt like he needed to step back and assess his situation. And maybe I crossed the line and let me apologize because I went too far. Remember when Jay-Z said his mom told him, you went too far, when it was the Jay-Z and Nas beef and he had released the track talking about leaving condoms on the baby seat and all of that shit. And Jay-Z's mom was like, bro, what are we doing right now? Like, that's not even what I raised you to be. Like, that's not what I want you to be out here promoting. And Jay-Z apologized for that, right? Because he had crossed the line. That's not what J. Cole did. It wasn't anything disparaging about his personal life or someone in his family or someone that he cares deeply about. He literally was talking about his body of work and all of that. And at the end of the day, I said this at the beginning when Cole first apologized. Cole felt the need to deaden the beef because that's not what he's about. That's never been who he's been about, and that's not what he wants to represent. And peace of mind comes before anything else. And his peace of mind was disturbed clearly by the 7-minute drill track and what was to come after it. And he just wanted to get out in front of that train, maybe, and a lot of people trying to call him soft and say that he didn't want to smoke with Kendrick. And maybe that is the case. I can't say. I don't think that's what it is at all. I think literally we know J. Cole to be a dude that usually stays to himself, has himself insulated in his own little bubble. And I think this was disturbing and really creating an environment that he wasn't comfortable with. And he had to go ahead and right a wrong that he thought he had created. And he did that. But in doing that, there are consequences. A wise woman once told me, we live in America, and so you are free to say and do whatever the hell it is you want to do, but you are not free from the consequences of your actions. J. Cole is free to apologize. He's not free from the consequences that come from the apology. And I think he's okay with whatever repercussions come from the apology. It's not going to hurt his bottom line. J. Cole fans are still going to support J. Cole, and he knows that, which is why he's not tripping. But in that conversation that we were having about Big Three and who's number one, this, that, and the third, he's no longer in that conversation. And I think he's okay with not being in that conversation. He had to be. That, to me, he prioritized what was more important in his life. Being in that conversation and potentially being number one in the Big Three, or at least chasing after that and competing for that, or having peace of mind. He chose peace of mind, and I'm not mad at him. I ain't glad at him, but I'm not mad at him. So it really turned to a very intriguing situation with the rest of the beef, because remember, it felt like Cole and Drake had teamed up against Kendrick. So Kendrick felt like his back was against the wall. Oh, y'all teaming up against me. And obviously he jumped on like that and said, ain't no Big Three, it's Big Me. And Drake has all these enemies now, right? It feels like every single dude Drake has ever been cool with. And I don't know if this has something to, if this says something more about Drake or what the industry or whatever, but every single dude Drake has a beef with right now, he's been at one point or another very, very close to these individuals, tight relationships, done records with them, entire projects with them, gone on tour with them. It's crazy. Whether you're talking Future or you're talking Rick Ross or you're talking Abel, right? The Weeknd. The list goes on and on. Like, it's ridiculous how we've gotten to this point. Kendrick Lamar, obviously, he went on tour with him early in his career, he brought Kendrick on tour with him. And it's just crazy how it seems like everything Drake touches turns into a beef. And again, I don't know what that says necessarily about Drake or the industry that he's in, because it seems like everyone tried to warn Drake that this eventually was going to happen, right? Anyway, all of the, social media is great. It's a gift and a curse, because on one hand, it's the most toxic environment one can find him or herself in. On the other hand, it's undefeated for a reason. The shit doesn't miss. And everybody's been talking about Drake essentially against the world. It turned into a Thanos situation and a Marvel situation. because it feels like it's Drake is like 20v1 right now, and Drake is feeling that weight too, and that prompted this latest diss track that we got from Drake, Push-Ups, dropping "Give Me 50," which I don't care if you don't like Drake or not. It was pretty good. Like this is what we like about hip hop when we get into the sparring session and we get into these situations where hip hop is allowed to be hip hop, and it turns into a sparring session, and it's okay that guys go back and forth. Again, as long as it stays on wax, I got no issues with this thing. And right now, it's feeling like this could, I will say, right now, everybody's behaving themselves. It's all wax, right? But the reason that beef can become dangerous, which is why I think J. Cole was like, nah, I'm not really feeling that, is because it could get really ugly really fast. And all it takes is for you to be out in public, and next thing you know, your crew is there, their crew is there, and you can't control what everybody's gonna do. And one person decides to get buck and brolic and do something crazy, and somebody gets shot, and we see crazy shit like that happen all the time. And so at the end of the day, as long as it stays on wax, this is what it's about. And I love the fact that Drake dropped a rebuttal to everything that was going on, right? Obviously, Future and Metro Boomin dropped an entire album, and they had Kendrick on like that, and then they had a follow-up, We Still Don't Trust You, right? And so Drake jumped in immediately and followed up with Push-Ups, and he got at everybody. And it seemed like he had a long list of guys to get at. And I love that Rozay didn't waste any time. He didn't let that shit sit. Remember when Drake did back to back and he was going after Meek Mill, and Meek didn't respond, and he came out with 2 tracks, right? And it felt like he buried him. It didn't even really matter what Meek did after that. He came out with that whack ass Undertaker joint, and it didn't matter because he took too long to respond. And by the time he responded, Drake had already destroyed him. I love that Rozay jumped in the fray right away and said, nah, bro, that's not how we doing business with Champagne Moments. And I'm gonna play both of those tracks for you today. You probably already heard them. You should have already heard them, but I'm gonna play both of those tracks tonight, and we're gonna kind of react to them. I'll stop it when I hear, a diss that is pertinent, and there's plenty of them, but I don't know the origins of all of them, but the ones that I do know, we'll stop, we'll discuss, and we'll go from there. So let's start with Drake's, because I think his is the one you have to play first because it came out before Rozay's diss. And so you play Drake's Push-Up, Drop and Give Me 50. And just a little background information on the title. The Push-Ups, Drop and Give Me 50. It's not actually Drake talking about push-ups, like legitimate physical push-ups. The Drop and Give Me 50 is a shot at Kendrick Lamar, who signed a deal with TDE and has literally 50% of his money going to the person that essentially signed him to the deal. So he signed a bad deal. We see that all the time in music. It's unfortunate that that still exists, but he signed a pretty bad deal, and Drake obviously gets wind of it. I swear these dudes be on some real middle school girl bullshit, right? Where you try to find like Jay-Z at Summer Jam getting the picture of Prodigy, at dance class, which his mom ran, calling him a ballerina. I got the pictures I seen you. right? Like, I swear these dudes be on some middle school girl bullshit. But hey, anything you can get to get an upper hand to take a shot at somebody, you do it. And so anyway, I digress. Let's jump into Drake's push-ups, drop and give me 50, and listen to this and kind of dissect it as we go through it. So we start with Drake's.
Hey, I could never be nobody #1 fan. Your first #1, I had to put it in your hand. You pussy.
Stop. So right out of the gate. Drake has always been one to talk about how he doesn't need help from anybody. He's been on record saying that many, many, many times. I don't need help from none of y'all, but y'all always need help from me. And a lot of times, I can't lie, when Drake blesses you on a track, it usually shoots to the top, right? And it's probably one of your most notable records. Anything Drake seems to touch turns to gold. I cannot lie. Every single track that Rick Ross has had that has gone top 10, Drake is on the track. That's fact. Like, you don't have to love it, but it is what it is. So there's that. And whether it's a feature or, is Drake's track and Ross is on it, doesn't matter, right? Anything that Rick Ross has done that has touched top 10, Drake has had something to do with it. Take it for what it's worth. Let's proceed.
Outside America for Nan. I'm out in Tokyo because I'm big in Japan. I'm the hit maker y'all depend on. Backstage in my city, it was friends.
See, you heard him. I'm the hit maker y'all depend on. Like, Drake continues to tell you, y'all need me. I don't need y'all.
You won't never take no chain off of us. How the fuck you big stepping with a size 7 man?
So I had to, when I first heard that line, I was like, damn, that was pretty clever. That was nasty. Obviously, he's talking to Kendrick. How you big stepping? Kendrick had the Big Steppin' album, and he said, how you big stepping with size 7 mans on, because Kendrick's a short dude, right? Like, he's not a big guy. I don't know what shoe size he wears, but it can't be much bigger than size 7. So Drake being a little funny there, being a little petty. I'm not mad at it. Love it. All right, we continue.
For us, how the fuck you big stepping with a size 7 man's on? This the part with the bite, nigga, what's up? I know my picture on the wall when y'all cook up. Extortion, baby, whole career, you been shook up. This top told you drop and give me 50 like some push-ups. Hood, your last one brick, you really not on shit. They make excuses for you cause they hate to see me lit. Pull your contract cause we gotta see the split. The way you doing splits, bitch, your pants might rip.
Whew, that was a lot right there. So all of that was on Kendrick, right? So your last shit flop, talking about his last album. Obviously, if you go through Kendrick's catalog, his last album was not as commercially successful as the previous albums, and universally, it's been acclaimed. It's been declared his worst album of the albums in his catalog. I think that's his 4th album, if I'm not mistaken. And universally, it's the worst album. Everybody feels that way. The numbers kind of suggest that as well. Still won stuff off of it, right? Grammy nominations, etc. But and he talks about how people hype him up essentially and make excuses for him, even though he hasn't put out music in however long, and et cetera, et cetera. So, but then he says we need to see the split, which is why the song is called Push-Ups, Drop and Give Me 50, because again, the split in his contract, he's giving up 50%. And so that's what Drake is alluding to there. There was a lot to chew on there, and Drake is not done with Kendrick Lamar as we continue to listen to this.
Do that motherfucking show inside the bitty. Maroon 5 need a verse, you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. Top say drop, you better drop and give them 50.
So Top is the person that's getting that other 50%, right? So Drake is making mention of that yet again. Obviously, Kendrick had a verse with Maroon 5, so you better make it witty. Then we need a verse for the Swifties. He had a verse for Taylor Swift on one of her tracks, and it was a very big track, but nonetheless, Drake is making fun of that as well. But he continues to push and jab at the fact that, bro, you're not getting money out here because you got to give up 50 or whatever you get to Top. So we move on, right?
Pip squeak, pipe down, you ain't in no big three. SZA got you wiped down, Travis got you wiped down, Savage got you wiped down. Like your label, boy, you in a scope right now.
So that's a nasty bar right there, right? Now, the whole SZA got you wiped down, Travis got you wiped down, miss me with that shit. But the fact that he's like, you in a scope right now, in a scope being a label, that's nasty right there. That's that double entendre shit that we love from Drake, and that's a beautiful bar right there. So he's saying you're not in the big three. I got other people on top of you. Get out of here. Get out of my face. You're not even popping. We continue.
Right now, and you gon' feel the aftermath of what I write down. I'm at the top of the mountain, so you tight now. Just to have this talk with your ass, I had to hike down. Big difference between Mike then and Mike now. What the fuck is this, a 20v1, nigga?
So he brought up Mike then, Mike now, because obviously Kendrick considers himself Prince. And you remember in the Like That Drake diss, he talked about Prince outliving Mike. So you're going to hear that Prince Mike thing come up again here in a second. And I have to say, Drake killed it again. Let's continue to listen.
To a king, he a son, nigga. Get more.
All right, so right there, let me go back a little bit because I stopped it and I probably should have just let it rock and then stopped it.
Your ass, I had to hike down. Big difference between Mike then and Mike now. What the fuck is this, a 20v1, nigga? What's a prince to a king? He a son, nigga.
So again, another hellacious bar from Drake. That's a hell of an overhand right that it connected and it dropped Kendrick down to the mat. So Kendrick has essentially called himself Prince and Drake Mike Jack, and he said Prince outlived Mike Jack, and he said it in the Like That track. And Drake's rebuttal to that is, what's a prince to a king? Because you considering yourself Prince. Well, I'm a king. That's a son. Damn. Right? Touche. Touche.
King, he a son, nigga. Get more love in a city that you from, nigga. Metro, shut your whole ass up and make some drums, nigga.
Woo! I remember when I first heard that, the first thing I thought of was Drake. So it's widely known in rap that unless you just don't respect the dude, you don't say their name. We all know who you're talking about when you diss somebody, right? We all know who you're talking about. And if we don't, we got to figure it out. We got to connect the dots and figure this shit out. You only say somebody's name if you do not respect them on a track. Look how much beef we've seen and how it goes. Generally, you don't hear the artist's name. We know who they're talking about. Now, if I don't respect you, if I think you're a peon or I think you're dismissive, I'm gonna mention your name because I don't respect you or what you do, and you can't hurt me. You've never heard him mention Kendrick's name. You're not gonna hear him mention Rick's name, right? Ricky Rozay. You know who he's talking about though, but he's not going to say their name because you don't do that on a track when you diss somebody unless you really want that smoke. He's going after Metro because he's a producer and he knows Metro isn't going to come back with bars. And so what is he going to do, right? You can go after him. What is he going to do? Right? It's the reason why people go after Kanye and say his name on tracks, because what is Kanye? I mean, Kanye can respond with bars, but Kanye is not a battle rapper. Kanye, people view Kanye as being soft. He's a backpacker, right? That's how he came in the game. So you're not afraid of Kanye. Kanye doesn't have an entourage, right? Kanye's not from the streets. So you can go out, you can disrespect Kanye and feel comfortable that there's no repercussions for that. I can't say the same for Metro Boomin, but he's a producer. He's not coming back on wax with it. He might make a beat for somebody that's going to come and attack you like he did for Future, like he did with Kendrick on that beat, on Like That. But he's not going to actually respond with bars. On one hand, I'm like, damn, that's some bitch ass shit. On the other hand, I'm like, that's a hard ass bar. And historically, when you don't respect somebody, you just kill them with one line and you keep it pushing. I don't need to continue to beat you up. Jay-Z said, I'm all about the dollar. What the fuck is 50 Cent? And he just moved on. Like, I don't have time to consider, I don't have time to concern myself with 50 Cent. You a newbie on the block. You mention my name. I'm going to kill you with one bar and then I'm moving on, right? I don't worry about you. So that's what this kind of felt like, right? Yikes. Zoinks! Shut your ass up and make some drums, nigga. Wait a minute. That's like the equivalent of putting your hand on somebody's forehead as they swinging at you, and you like, man, stop playing, man. You like, that's the equivalent of sunning somebody. Like, hey, stop playing, man. Bad back. And just putting your hand on their forehead and they swinging, but they can't reach you. That's what that felt like he just did to Metro Boomin. That's almost feel like that's not fair, man. Come on. He's a producer, bro. But hey, Metro Boomin's a part of the beef now, right? He declared where he is in this thing. He drew his line in the sand. So now he can get some of this work too. So yikes.
I'm the sixth guy, I'm the front runner. Y'all nigga manager was Charles' little blunt runner. Playing a six and you boys ain't even come from it. And when you boys got rich, you had to run from it. Cash flowing, able bread out here tricking. Shit we do for bitches, he doing for niggas.
All right, so he's talking about The Weeknd. I think that that sixth line that he was just talking about, because obviously The Weeknd is from Canada too, but I don't think he's from the six. So I think that sixth line was for him. He's talking about tricking, you know, the shit we do for bitches, you do for niggas. That's him talking to The Weeknd again. You interpret that the way you want, but it's a lot of shit going on now in these streets out here. So you interpret that the way you want to. Let's keep it going.
Whips change, wiki. Spinning like you trying to fuck, boy, you tripping, boy, you.
All right, hold on. Now we going.
Cash flowing, able.
Now we floating into Future territory here, right?
Shit we do for bitches, he doing for niggas. Jets, whips, chains, wiki. Spinning like you trying to fuck, boy, you tripping, Drizzy Chippendale, probably got your bitch in there. I just got them done, boy, don't make me at the Chippendale. Rolling loud stage, I would turn, that was slick as hell. Shit'll probably change if it BM start to kiss and tell. Hugs and kisses, man, don't tell me about no switches. I'll be rocking every fucking chain I own next busy, ayy.
Now keep that chain line, and he's mentioned chains a couple of times. You know, in hip hop, one of the things, and this goes way back into the days, right? But your chain is symbolic, right? Getting your chain snatched is a big effing deal. You get your shit snatched, you got to get your shit back. If you snatch somebody's chain, that's essentially war, like literally street war. Like, people die over chains. So you hear the chain referenced multiple times in this track already. Put a pin in that, because when we get to Rozay's clapback, champagne moments, we're going to hear about that chain again. So just keep that and tucked away in your back pocket. But let's continue.
By no switches, I'll be rocking every fucking chain I own next busy, ayy. I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney, top say,
Whoa. Whoa. So I be with some bodyguards like Whitney. We go back to Kendrick here. So apparently, and this is why I said this shit can get dangerous. Drake is known for dragging females into these affairs, and No Limit is off, and nothing is safe. And I go back to the beef with Pusha because we were told that there was this massive track he had for Pusha, but it would have blurred the lines, and it would have got to the point where it might have gone beyond wax and something might have happened. So Jay Prince stepped in and was like, nah, I can't let you put that out. Again, I don't know if that's true or not. We don't know if it's true or not, but that's what we were told. We've seen Drake on multiple instances bring a rapper's wife into the conversation. And to me, that's you drawing a line in the sand when you start talking about my wife and you naming her name on the track. He did it with Pusha T. Now he's doing it here with Kendrick. Apparently Kendrick's wife, and again, I can't confirm nor deny this. I'm not on social media like that. So I don't know if it's true or not, but reportedly she had a little something going on with one of Kendrick's bodyguards. Her name is Whitney. So if you want to go back and listen to that line to make it make sense, listen to this, what he says. Kendrick's wife, named Whitney, reportedly had some kind of little, situation with a bodyguard. Take a listen.
Boy, don't make me at the Chippendale rolling loud stage. I would turn, that was slick as hell. Shit'll probably change if it BM start to kiss and tell. Hugs and kisses, man, don't tell me about no switches. I'll be rocking every fucking chain I own next visit. Ayy, I'll be with some bodyguards like Whitney, tops. Midget ass better fucking. Hey, drop and give me 50. Ay, drop and give me 50. Drop and give me 50. Ay, niggas really got me out here talking like I'm 50. Niggas really got me out here rapping what I'm living. I might take your latest girl and cuff her like I'm Ricky. Can't believe he jumping in, this nigga turning 50. Every song that made.
So now he's transitioning to Ricky. He's like, drop and give me 50. He's like, I can't believe he jumping in this. He about to turn 50. Now let's listen.
I'm from Drizzy. Spend that little check, you gotta stay up out my business. Nigga, shout out to the hooper that be busting out the gritty. We know why you mad, nigga, I ain't even tripping. All that little heartbroken Twitter shit for bitches. This for all the top dogs, drop and give me 50, drop. In that fucking song, y'all got to not start the beef with us. This shit been brewing in a pot, now I'm heating up. I don't care what Cole think, that dot shit was weak as fuck. Champagne tripping, he is not fucking easing up. Nigga calling top to see if top want a piece of it up. Top want a piece of it up, top want a piece of it up. Nah, pussy, now you on your own when you speaking up. You don't roll deep to this, it's not fucking deep enough. Begging cops or not, boy, you not fucking beating us. Numbers wise, I'm out of here, you not fucking creeping up. Money wise, I'm out of here, you not fucking sneaking up. Cornball your show money, merch money feed us. I'ma let you niggas work it out because I seen enough. This ain't even everything I know, don't wait the demon up. This ain't even everything I know, don't wait the demon up. Drop and give me 50, all you fuck niggas teaming up. You smoking on Kendrick?
So he pretty much ends the song talking about essentially these dudes ain't on his level. They don't got the kind of money he got. They're not selling the records like he's selling them. And y'all just not on my level, essentially, is what he's saying as he ends this. And he's like, I got more. Like, please don't make me get into my bag because I got more shit on y'all. Like, y'all know I got dirt on y'all. Please don't make me go into the bag and really bury y'all, essentially, is what he's saying. Like, please don't wake the demon up. I got more of this. And y'all know I got it. We'll see, right? I can tell you this much. Rick Ross, Rozay is not backing down. He is not backing down. So let's finish off this track. We pretty much heard all of it.
You smoking on Kendrick? Yeah, drop. bag, 29 for the thought.
So I'm gonna just say that was a dope ass diss track, and I love the fact that he got at multiple individuals, because it's literally Drake against everybody, right? It's everybody, as a matter of fact, right now. It goes hard, but it's not like, oh my God, it's the end all be all. Like, it can be topped. It can be topped. But like when Nas dropped Ether, it was nothing Jay-Z could say or do after that track to top Ether. It was like, this shit is over, bro. Give it a rest, right? Just let it go. You lost. And it's okay. We still love you, right? But you lost. And that was universally accepted. That's not what this is, right? But what it is, hey, just letting y'all know. I know y'all teaming up. It's a bunch of y'all. I don't give a. I will go against all of you. Now, the thing and again, I can't help, I'm human. The thing I always have an issue with Drake is, did you write that? Are these your bars, or is this somebody else's bars, or did somebody help you with this? Like, and it's not fair, but that's just, every time I hear something dope from Drake, I'm like, did you do that on your own? It is what it is. That was fire from Drake. I gotta give credit where credit is due. That was fire from Drake. Now we hear an immediate response. Like, Ricky Rozay did not waste time. He did not let this shit air out and kind of fumigate for a little while. He came back immediately with Champagne Moments. Let's take a listen to Ricky Rozay. We're just gonna let this one rock all the way through and kind of respond afterwards.
Fish tanks and marble floors, living big and bad. Niggas laugh until they hit with my official jab. Crack smoke is the exhaust from my pen and pad. Ghost writers, they get the floss, what you could have had.
A lot. So he's talking about Ghost Riders right away. So, you know, that's an easy, low-hanging fruit jab if you're going to take one at Drake, because he'll never live that down, right? That's always going to be there. So you can always take a shot at that if you want to get at Drake. And nobody's going to blink, but it's always an easy one. If you want to start off, then that's what he did. First 12 seconds in, let me go ahead and get at some of this ghostwriting talk. And nothing wrong with that, right? That's a warm-up. And let me just say this too. I think Ross doesn't get enough credit for his ability to produce a track. I think he's one of the most talented producers in the industry. Like, when I hear a Ricky Ross track, and it just it melodically, sonically, it's beautiful, and this shit is produced very well, you know, for a diss track. So, but he got a bunch of these in his bag, so it's gonna sound great from that standpoint, and then him just flowing over it. We'll see what the words sound like, but the production is gonna be tight. I just needed to say that.
It's the exhaust from my pen and pad. Ghost writers, they get the floss, what you could have had. Record label taking a loss, are you in your bag? You a worker on the chart, don't make me laugh. Get the mind, tell by my watch, this a different time. Living fine, I'm getting high, as your shit decline. Who believes he moving keys in his Louis V's? Run up on you and snatch your chain, watch you bitches bleed, feel the pain.
So that's the first reference to snatching a chain, right? Drake talked about ain't nobody touching my chain. That led him to the Bodyguard line with Whitney. So just keep that in mind, right, as we keep going.
When you really rhyme, either you niggas getting money or ready to die. B.I.G. or give a fuck if you Chi-Ali. You got it and you keep it tucked if you be by me.
Again, we talking about a chain. You keep your shit tucked if you be by me. because I had your shit snatched. Again, we go talking about chains, and again, it's on wax, right? It's on wax. Keep it on wax.
Better known as the Charles Schwab. Double R spread through the yard, and I swear to God, pop a perk for the field. Go and count me a meal. Kill you niggas for free. Do it all for the thrill. Niggas leaking their records when we speaking directly. If we keeping it gangster, when you see me, you check me.
So that's the hook, and it's a dope hook by Ross. And he's essentially saying, like, Drake leaked his diss track, and it's almost like you dipping your toe in the water to see how it's received, right? Because the leak wasn't the same as the finished product, right? Once everybody was like, oh, this shit fire, then he remastered the shit, essentially went back in, cleaned it up, put a different beat on it, and then released it to the masses. But if they would have said it was whack, he might have went back in the lab, cooked up something else, and came back. So, you know, Ross is essentially saying, look, bro, if you're gonna put some shit out, put it out. Like, don't leak it, right? Don't dip your toe in the water. Jump in this bitch and let's see what's up, right? But if you got beef with me, we can talk about it when you see me in person. You don't got to put that shit on wax, but if you want to put it on wax, we can do that.
White boy, I see you. I see you. Yeah. Check. Getting bullied, don't walk up on me because the clip is fully. Niggas pussy don't want to push me. I'm like, really, would he? Like his moves. But he never had a fight in school. Always ran. Another nigga had to write your grooves.
So Ross starts to get disrespectful once he said white boy for the first time. Everything else on this track is really disrespectful in my mind. And I love it, right? Because Drake is half white. Obviously, his mom is white, dad black. And there have been several things throughout Drake's career that lend you to believe, hey, don't try to pretend that this is the life that you about, because you're not. We all know about Degrassi and his acting career. We've seen different things that Drake has done, and it's easy to go at him from this angle of, hey, you a white boy, stay in your place. But it's just funny hearing Ross talk about it and talk about the past. So Ross is going to go back in the time machine and kind of remind you of, hey, this is who he was when he first came out. Like, don't let him fool you. He didn't just morph into this dude and become this dude, and this is who he's always been. No, he transformed himself into this dude. Like, y'all know better. Like, this is a white dude who never had a fight. Like, and Drake has addressed this on tracks before, where he was like, people try to act like I never had adversity. Like, I didn't go see, you know, my dad in prison. Like, I ain't never seen adversity before. Like, he's talked about that in tracks before, but people bring that up like, bro, come on now. You ain't seen what we seen. Like, you didn't grow up in the environment we grew up in. So Ross is kind of tapping into that. Anyway, let's continue with it.
Right in school, always ran. Another nigga had to write your grooves.
Another nigga had to write your grooves. So we go get back. He said, never been in a fight at school. Always had to run to another nigga, had to write your grooves. So again, he's talking about ghostwriting and never being in a fight. And when something pops off, you got to run to somebody else and they got to bail you out, essentially, with a pen, right? So that was clever on the part of Ricky Rozay. Not gonna lie.
Your base, Weezy gave you the juice. Another white boy at the park wanna hang with the crew.
Let's go back.
Pulitzer Prize winner switching up like that.
Let's go back a little bit.
I see you. Yeah. Check. Getting bullied, don't walk up on me because the clip is fully. Niggas pussy don't want to push me. I'm like, really, would he? Like his moves. But he never had a fight in school. Always ran. Another nigga had to write your grooves. Flow is copy and paste. Weezy gave you the juice.
So a lot of people have criticized Drake for biting styles over the life of his career. And Drake has switched up his flow many times, many times. He talked about his admiration for Fonte when he first came into the game. A lot of people felt like that's who he kind of flowed like when he first started. And we've seen him switch up. You know, he's done the drill thing. He's done, you know, the Wheezy thing. He's done, I mean, you could go through the catalog and see, you know, how he's rhymed and what it sounds like. And he says his flow is copy and paste. And he also talked about Wheezy's impact and how Wheezy gave you the juice, essentially. Like without Wheezy, one, Wheezy was the one who signed him to a deal. Two, Drake was already hot on the mixtape circuit before he signed his deal. He was the hottest free agent out at that time. But being paired up with Wheezy did not hurt his brand at all, and it really did help him. And then Wheezy went to jail, and that's when kind of Drake kind of stepped to the forefront and took over. So anyway, I digress. Let's keep it pushing.
We at the park, wanna hang with the crew. Pulitzer Prize winner, switching up like dyed denim. Get incentives for all the killings while we ride rentals. Look me right in my face, he beginning to shake. Told you niggas stay scheming, I predicted my fate.
That's the line right there. That's the one for me right there, right? Woo! One of my favorites is Stay Scheming. Stay scheming. Niggas trying to get at me. That's one of my shits right there, right? Like that's one of my favorites. If I put together a playlist, that's on it. And he said stay scheming, right? Drake was on that track, right? That was young Drake. That was Drake coming up in the game. Ricky Rozay gave him an opportunity on that track, right? To continue to put his face out there, right? And you'll hear him talk about that a little bit later. And he essentially said, I kind of predicted what was going to happen. I said dudes was going to stay scheming, and you happen to be one of those dudes that been scheming.
More money to you, fuck you want me to say. 50 mils for the crib, where you want me to stay. I can shoot up the block, I got bitches to pay. Let you DM my hoes, but got bitches you can't. Let you get on my songs, it was good for your face. Now bitch,
let you get on my songs, it was good for your face. Take that how you want to take it. Take that how you want to take it.
Ain't no room for debate. Pop a perk for the field. Go and count me a meal. Kill you niggas for free. Do it all for the thrill. Niggas leaking their records when we speaking directly. If we keeping it gangster, when you see me, you check me.
So that's why I talked about this earlier. Every single dude that Drake is beefing with, it feels like, I mean, there may be one or two in the mix that there wasn't a relationship previous, but every single one of these dudes, it feels like, and females, because he beefs with females as well, feels like he was tight with them at one point or another. Obviously with Rick Ross, he was once very tight. You heard what he just said on stage. Ross purposely took that clip and played it just to let everybody know, hey, he was on my dick once upon a time, right? So that's his way of saying, like, don't fall for the hype, right?
You ain't never want to be a nigga anyway, nigga. That's why you had operation to make your nose smaller than your father nose, nigga.
Okay, so now he goes on the attack here, right at the end, just, you know, kind of talking as we exit the track, and he talks about Drake's nose, and he went on an assault. I don't know if you've seen the post on IG, but Ross is not letting up. I mean, he is really attacking Drake. His nose, the surgery that he feels like he's had to take his nose and make it, you know, more narrow, so that he doesn't appear black. You know, we have wider noses, nostrils, and so Ross is not letting up, right? And you get at least 10 white boys here at the end. So he's gonna let you know, hey, he trying his best to do everything he can to not be black and tap into that white side. And said that man, yeah, Miss P said that man had a BBL right on his nose, right? Yeah, he did. Right on the post. So like Ross is not easing up on this man. He's really going after him hard. When I say hard, like he's really attacking this man. Like it's going down.
You ain't never want to be a nigga anyway, nigga. That's why you had operation to make your nose smaller than your father nose, nigga. I don't follow you, nigga, because you sent the motherfucking cease and desist to French Montana, nigga. You sent the police, nigga, hating on my dog project. That wasn't the same white boy that I seen, nigga, when we were making them early records, nigga. When you were happy to be around, nigga, seeing niggas fucking stunning your life, nigga. Give Weezy some more money, nigga. Give Rap a lot some more money, nigga. White boy, yeah, biggest. It's Rozay, nigga. We can do it how you want to do it, where you want to do it, anytime you want to do it. I'm ready. I'm ready, white boy. Huh? I know you got your Dockers on with no underwear, white boy. Yeah, you had that surgery, that six-pack on. That's why you wearing that funny shit at your show. You can't hide it, nigga. White boy.
Oh man, Ross is a funny dude, man. So know you got your Dockers on with your underwear, white boy. So there was a lot there that he talked about. You know, I was talking to my wife earlier today about how certain artists discover other artists, but they don't ever want to see the artist that they discover become bigger than them. And that's that ego thing that we see in the music industry way too often. I love artists who discover other artists, because if you discover him, you're probably getting a piece of the pie. And if this guy blows up or she blows up, whatever the case may be, that's more money for you. But it's an ego thing, right? Drake felt that way about The Weeknd, right? Weeknd was getting big and Drake tried to suppress him, and he knew it, and that's why he had to get free. He had to break free and go do his own thing. And we saw how he blew up after he left OVO. And we see this all the time. And you hear Ross talking about get this person some money, or get this person some money, because they're largely responsible for your success. And they didn't step on you, or they didn't try to stop you from being great like you have with other artists. And he talked about sending a cease and desist to French Montana. I know nothing about that. That's something that I'm gonna have to tap into and kind of find out what's the origins of that, because that's a little interesting. He talked about the sending the cops to I can't remember his name. So he touched on a number of things there, and then he talked about the surgery on his abs, because I think there are there are at least 2 or 3 dudes that I've questioned. Hey, how they get into such great shape so fast? Drake was one of those dudes. Kanye was. Remember, Kanye got really big, and then out of nowhere, Kanye was somewhat in shape again. I was like, that was odd and fast. But you know, in Hollywood, if you're willing to put in the work, you get a personal trainer. They're gonna tell you what to eat, how to work out, when to work out, and you see guys put on 60 pounds of muscle for a role in Hollywood like it's nothing, right? So I was like, well, maybe that's what some of these guys, they're not putting in that kind of work though, right? They're just getting surgeries done. So I don't know. Maybe Drake got a surgery done for real, right? But I don't know. Again, people, dudes just be saying stuff. When you beefing with somebody, you'll say anything. So I don't know what to believe, but it's just a little food for thought. You do the dishes. Anyway, this is heating up. It's heating up. I wonder who we're gonna hear from next. Do we hear a response from Drake after Rozay's response, or does somebody speak up on behalf of Metro Boomin? Right, because that was really disrespectful. Right, it's a one-liner. Get the hell out of here. Does somebody step up? There's a Future step up on behalf of Metro Boomin and do something? Don't know. Right. Does Kendrick pop his head out and do something? I don't think Kendrick does something like just releases a track. That's not his style. You more so would have to wait for an entire project, and there'll be a song that he'll dedicate to Diss and Drake. But you more likely, to get him on somebody else's track, Diss and Drake, than you are him to just put out an individual diss track. That's never been Kendrick's style, really. So I don't think that's what we'll get, but we'll see, man. Shit's getting hot and heavy. I love it. As long as it stays on wax, I'm here for all of it. So that's the gist of what I wanted to talk about tonight. I wanted to clean up on Aisle 3 with J. Cole because he's no longer in the big three, clearly, after his apology to Kendrick Lamar. And again, his peace of mind was more important than his standing in the rap Mount Rushmore, the current rap route, Mount Rushmore, rather. And so he was willing to sacrifice that for his peace of mind. I'm not mad at him. I'm not glad at him, but I understand where he's coming from. If that's what's important to you, do you, and don't try to be something that you're not. And so I can respect that from J. Cole, but understand that there are repercussions and there is a consequence to this. And I think he's kind of feeling that right now. And obviously we live in a society and a time where, yes, social media exists and everybody's going to have an opinion and people are going to crush him, and everybody's going to, I've seen everybody responding to J. Cole on their podcasts or their shows, and they're killing him. Simba came out and murdered him. And I get it. It is what it is. At the end of the day, J. Cole knew what he was doing. He knew that this was going to be the end result. He knew he couldn't apologize. And he even said it when he was apologizing. Like, I know my dogs, my guys, they going to kill me for this shit. He already knew. Like, they going to kill me. And he knew his guys, his crew, are a representation of what everybody else is on the outside. J. Cole tries to keep himself insulated in this bubble and tries not to really succumb to the outside external pressures. But he did succumb to them because his boys, I think, put the pressure on him to push to be considered number one. Like, hey, man, they keep calling you number three. Y'all in this big three, but they always acting like you ain't number one. And I think they kind of were the ones that kind of pushed him, nudged him, like, yo, nah, Cole, nah, F that, bro. You better than both of these. Like, let them know what's up. And it got to a point where it became contentious. Out of nowhere, it kind of felt like over time, but it happened over time. But at the end of the day, Cole's no longer in that discussion. He excused himself with the apology, but Drake's not backing down. And he even said it in push-ups, like, Cole hyped you up. I ain't giving you no credit. Yeah, that shit was whack. Speaking on Kendrick, like, nah, we can do this. I'm game. I'm ready. I always am a little leery with Drake because he's always bringing up somebody's wife. And it's a slippery slope, man. That's a dangerous game you play when you start getting personal, when you start bringing in people's loved ones. That's when this shit can turn ugly real quick. And look, if I'm not mistaken, I think Pusha only brought up his son after he brought up his wife. I could have that mixed up. And Pusha had already said something about his son. But that's how the shit could go sideways. And Drake took that personal. And that's why I think he had that crazy, diss record that never was released. Again, if you believe that diss track exists, anyway, I digress. MusicHeads class is always in session, and we'll have a lot of these live streams moving forward. We're gonna have a lot of different activities, some fun ones. Like we're gonna get into some trivia. We're gonna give out some prizes, all of that stuff. We're gonna have some spirited debates. You know what it is. It's MusicHead University, and we ain't going nowhere. And class is always in session, and we really about to turn it up, man. Get your pens and your pads out, because we really about to go to work. All right, but in any event, you guys have a good one. Take care. See you guys next time. Peace.